Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. It's Fender Bass week at the shop. We have a P-Bass on the bench. We're doing some modifications for the customer. He's putting a hip shot bridge on, and we're putting some Seymour Duncan quarter pounders in it. So let's get to work. This should be interesting. Let's see if I can get my camera set. Yeah, so what we have here is an American-made P-Bass. This is a precision bass. It is the Professional 2, American Professional 2. Is it Professional 2? Yeah. It doesn't get any more real than this guitar. This is just an unbelievable instrument. I worked on this bass briefly for him. I did a restring and a setup for him. We're taking out the original equipment here and putting in some, well, you guessed it, Seymour Duncan quarter pounders. I use quarter pounders in all my jazz basses. Excellent choice. That's going to make this bass really punchy. It's already really punchy. That's going to be the easy part. Of course, we have to de-string it, get the pick guard off, open up the cavity. We just got to desolder the old pickups out, put the new pickups in. That's, a little bit of a job, but not terrible. Here's where it's going to get tricky. He also wants to put a hip shot. I don't know which way it's going to read that the best. I guess like that. Hip shot. They're from my neck of the woods where I grew up in New York. Good company. I have a hip shot system, bridge system on my Thunderbird. Referred to earlier videos that I've talked about that. Really good quality upgrades. This is a high mass bridge. Not always a fan of high mass bridges, but I know I put a high mass bridge on my Thunderbird. I know it can be done. Couple of issues. He ordered this bridge. I really don't like putzing around with this hardware with the guitar on the bench. One slip of a finger and there you go. He wanted steel or stainless steel saddles, and you can see it's got brass on there. So we're waiting for those to come in, but that's not really the issue. The original equipment from Fender on this bass is not a bad bridge, but this is definitely a huge upgrade. Very, very good choice on his part. 1, 2, 3 mounting holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get in the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounting holes on the hip shot bridge. I can put it on there with just the 3 center screws, but I'm waiting for him to get back to me on not only when are the saddles going to come in. These saddles, you just unscrew them. The nice thing about this, this bridge is, as opposed to this one has the old style Fender on it that you can change your string spacing, but like mine, on my basses, there are 3 slots in each saddle, and you can move the string one way or the other. This particular bridge has an adjustment here. You unscrew that little set screw, and the saddle can actually slide laterally. I like that function. It's very similar to the function that I have on my hip shot bridge. Much thicker. I would say it's probably twice as thick as the bridge that's on the guitar's original equipment. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to pause really quickly because the customer is calling me right now. Okay, we're back. Oddly enough, before I actually clicked record on this video, I sent a text to him and explained to him, about, 3 mount holes as opposed to 5. So we came up with a game plan. What we're going to do is we are going to de-string and move forward with this. He's made some excellent choices with his gear, and he's a professional. He's a working musician. This isn't Japanese stuff. This isn't offshore China cheap stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to de-string. We're going to do this first. This is the easy part. I want to get that mounted, and then we're going to, once we get that mounted on there, because I want to make sure that these inside screws work. At a later date, if he really digs on that hip shot, then we'll drill the other 2 holes and move forward. That's what we decided. 3 mount holes, 5 mount holes. If it was my guitar, I wouldn't even think about it, but that's just the way it is. While we have all that apart, get that mounted, we're going to knock all this out, and we're going to put in some new Seymour Duncan stuff. So stand by. We are about to de-string once we get that all done. And I'm not going to film it because these strings are relatively new. I just put them on for him last month or 6 weeks ago. So I have to pull them out, try to straighten them as much as I can, get them through the body to save them. They're really expensive strings. So I'm going to pause and we'll be right back. So with the strings off the guitar, we can now, let's get centered here. And I had to save those strings. They're kind of special and specific to this guy. And he, like I said, he's a professional and he knows what he likes. Those strings I put on for him, and we're going to try to save them. And it's easier on a bass than it is on a guitar. Once they're in there, luckily it's this kind of tuner. So you can pull them out, you can straighten them out if you're careful, get them back through there, save them. We'll restring the bass when we're done with all the modifications. So first thing to go is the bridge. The ferrules sometimes pop right out. It appears as though they have set them with some sort of glue from the factory. We're going to hope that they stay in there. I've had my J basses over the years when I do the same kind of mod. Those ferrules will pop out, so we have to keep an eye on that. So here we go. As I said, this particular bridge only has 3 mounting screws. All my J basses I've ever had are 5, and the upgraded version, upgrade on the bridge that we're going to put in is 5 screws. We're only going to use the 3 that are coming out for now. I'm sure once he gets used to playing it with the new bridge on there and we get the right saddles, everything will be Jake. It'll literally take me 10 or 15 minutes at a later date to drill the other 2 holes without even removing the strings or the bridge and put in the other 2 mounting screws. It will make the bridge more secure, and resonance. Everything that touches the body and the vibration from the strings going through the body, through the saddle, through the bridge, it makes a difference. You don't want to, if you got 5 mount holes, use them all, because it's only going to hold that bridge tighter to the body. By the way, this guitar is not that old, so at every juncture we're trying to really pay attention. That's your ground wire. Let's get our new saddle out here and compare string depth. because they do send you screws, and they don't look to be as deep, but they look fatter, and I like that. They look fatter. There's a lot of extra parts in here too. They give you extra saddle, intonation screws and springs. They give you a couple extra saddles. I guess if you've used different kind of string thicknesses, but we're not going to get too involved in that. They're exactly the same length, bigger heads, and I'm going to say the thickness is slightly bigger. We're going to use the ones they sent us because the head is bigger and it's going to fit down in the hole better. Those go too far down in there. Yep. I like that. Now, this is what I was trying to check out really closely before I did anything. Yeah, they fucked him. They fucked him over. They said this was a direct replacement. It's not. It's not. The only hole that lines up is the center one. Well, he's going to get another phone call from me today. He'll be returning all that crap. We're putting his old bridge back on. That is not a direct replacement. Hip shot, you screwed the pooch, man. They told him over and over and over again, this is a direct replacement, and it's not. It is not a direct replacement. The only hole that lines up is the center one. And the other ones aren't even remotely close enough. You'd have to drill the outside holes to mount that saddle, that bridge and that saddle. Yeah, he's getting his old bridge back. Sorry to tell you, my friend. Never go through the drive-thru. You know the old joke, right? Never go through the drive-thru. This saddle is going to live on this guitar for a little while longer anyway. I suppose we could put it on there and drill into the body anyway, but it defeats our plan, because our plan was to mount these center 3 screws, which are, by the way, supposed to be a direct replacement. And at a later date, if he decides that he likes that bridge, then we were gonna drill the other 2 holes and put the other 2 screws in. Guess what? Hip shot screwed the pooch on that one. Maybe I should do a little research and see what I can come up with for a direct replacement for this guitar. Out of these 2 mods, I'm going to say it out loud. Out of these 2 mods that he's doing, the bridge and the Seymour Duncan pickups, this is what he's going to get a lot more jump out of. That's what's going to really make this guitar come alive. So, that being said, all of that gear is going back in the box. We're going to move on to this. Stand by while I get rid of all this stuff and box it back up. Okay, we're back with the P-Bass. So, epic fail on the hip shot upgrade. We're going to move forward. We're going to get the pick guard off. We're going to put in the new Seymour Duncan pickups. So, off come the knobs. Let's get ourselves a little thing here to take all our screws. I love Fender because you can just get in there, take this off, and flip it over just like a Stratocaster, and all your electronics are right there. So this will take a few minutes. I suppose we could put a bit on the drill and knock all these out, but stand by, let me get all these screws out. It'll take a few minutes. So there we go. We reveal all of our electronics. And this is one of the things I love about Fender, is that you pull your pick guards off and everything is right there. Now this is a really pretty much a straightforward operation, but before we get into this, and I forget, there's still plastic sitting under these nuts, and I don't know why Fender does that, but we're gonna loosen the nuts slightly and pull the rest of that plastic out. And don't ever try to tighten that stuff without holding the back of it, because yeah, all you're gonna do is twist wires. Stupid, 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 stupid. And of course it's stuck to it, you know. Doesn't just come right off. I guess I'll have to clean this up too, because there's all kinds of sticky goo on there. I've had guys come in that have owned their guitars for decades and there's still plastic sticking out. All three of them. Volume, tone, and the output jack. I can't stand that, and I'm not going to give it back to them like that. Couldn't do it. Wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't want that crap on my guitar. I guess the wisdom is from Fender is that, whoa, when you buy your guitar, take it to their repair department and have them do a setup, which would include removing all this stuff for you. Well, that's bullshit. That's manufacturer in cahoots with the real retail outlet. Got that one. Sure is pretty though. Got all that. Let's see if this one's the same size. It is. It's just our output jack. Simple guitar, really. And it's been the same for, my God, 70 years. From the original design that Leo Fender invented out of his own head. This was the beginning of it right here. The P-Bass. Quite a story. You should look it up if you're a Fender guy or a girl. Look it up. Learn about Leo Fender. No, don't you turn on me. Get back over there. See, that's why you want to hold on to these things when you tighten them down. You don't want them to turn at all. Let's make sure we're good. Fit it back in there. This basic design has been the same since he invented this guitar. And this came before anything else. This was the one. Yeah, I like that. Look, no more plastic. Got some goop on there, but we'll clean that up before we give it back to him. Let's get to the meat of it, which is these two guys right here. So we're going to get our solder iron out. We're going to pull these out, desolder them, or desolder them and then pull them out. They're attached together. Seymour sends us screws to go with it. We'll save these just in case. And these are very similar to J-Bass. They have a cushion down there. That's all it is. Let's get them out of there and see what we got. One. So we're going to have to do a little more modification. Well, actually, all we got to do is desolder it from that plate because the new pickups, this is a ground plate. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Got a ground plate. One ground goes there. Oh, it's the same. All right, let me get my solder iron out. I'll be right back. So, as you know, I can never show soldering because it's just me going like this. I wish I could, but relatively straightforward. We took the old ones out. They were wired up a little bit differently, so I had to do a little fabrication. Not a big deal. There's a plate down in there, and they ground to that. They modified the original design, but no big deal. Seymour Duncan never fails me. You follow what they tell you to do, and every guitar is a little bit different, but ground wire to the pot, hot wire to the volume knob, and we're getting ready to test it. So let's test it together. I got my solder iron over here cooling off. All we do to test it is plug it in, power it up, amp, and we should have beautiful. Let's get our volume knob up here. Tone is working. Volume is working. I gotta say, these pickups are really hot. I love quarter pounders. Power it down. Unplug it there from the amp. Unplug it from the control plate. Come on, you. Get out of there. Now, all we gotta do is put it together and really basically do a setup. Let's get our stuff out of the way. Yeah. All we got to do is hope that Seymour Duncan made their pickups the same size, so we don't have to modify the pick guard. I've had it happen. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that's not what's going to happen today. Now, take care to make sure that your wires are routed and they're not in the way or touching anything else that they don't need to be touching. Just be careful. Get them all down into the cavity. Get lined up. And this pick guard gave me a little bit of trouble getting over the old ones and getting out. Well, I'm seeing. Let's get down in there first. They're a little tight. I had to loosen them up and bring them up higher. I think this particular pick guard was maybe routed a little too tight. Right there. Let's see. And my jazz basses always just go clunk right down over them. This one does not want to do that. And it was hard pulling them out, the old ones out. Got that side, and that side does not want to go. Yeah. I think right there and right there, I think we may have to cut his, I think once it gets down over it, it'll be okay, but I really don't want to force it. Stand by. What an epic pain in the butt. When I took the old ones out, they didn't seem to want to come out of the pick guard, and sure enough, these didn't want to go in. I literally had to take the covers off, open it all back up, take the covers off the pickups, and push the pickup covers into the pick guard, and then reassemble. Thank Buddha, we're moving on. Let's just restring this old girl back up and make her play again, because damn, these pickups are hot. They sound so good. I love quarter pounders. And I hate to do this to you again, but I'm going to pause while I fish all these strings back through the body, because there goes all my strings. Fish all the strings back through the body because we had a fail on the hip shot bridge. But we're going to restring it. We're going to set it up and get this set up. Really, we don't need to do a full setup on it. We just need to get our pickup height set. So stand by. Give me 5 minutes. Okay, we got this girl strung back up. I am very pleased to see even all the trouble that the pick guard route gave me. The pick guard route is too small by microns, but wow, I put pick guards on these guitars all the time, and they usually just slide right over the pick guard covers, or the pick covers, pick up covers, sorry. Even when I was taking the original equipment off, they seem to be really tight. So it's not the pickup covers, either Seymour Duncan or the original equipment. It's the pick guard is routed a little too, just slightly too tight. I mean, I had to go through a lot just to get those pickup covers up through there to be able to, you know, get and then reverse install it, basically. Yeah, this one put me through my paces. Let's play it and see what it sounds like. I've played this guitar before, and it's a really nice instrument. Let's get up in the video. Let's see if this old girl's gonna make some honking noise. I like it. I like it a lot. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of a string. I don't know if he adjusted his own strings or what, but I'm going to do a little setup on it really quick before I give it back to him. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. This P-Bass put me through my paces. We had a fail on the bridge. The hip shop did not want to do what it was supposed to do. Not a direct replacement. Guy sold it to this customer and told him it was a direct replacement. It's not. It requires modification, and quite a bit of modification. The Seymour Duncans went right in, soldered them in, but the pick guard from the factory is a little tight. We got through all that. Guitar's playing like a dream. I'm going to do a couple of quick adjustments on it, clean it up before I give it back to him, but it's a success. Blackjack with 396 guitars. We'll talk soon.